All the parts required to build a door are in the box, complete with a decal and warranty card. When assembling the door, the bigger the flat surface that you have to work on, the better. Stretch the mesh out flat in front of you with the spline nearest you. Thread the spline into the pull bar. The mesh is always squared to the pull bar. The mesh is 5/8 of an inch longer than the pull bar on each side. The square should be a perfect 90-degree with the pull bar. The best tool to do this with is a 48-inch sheetrock or gyprock square. If you put a 5/8 inch mark on your square, this will save a lot of time. The length of the mesh is 1 1/4 inches longer than the pull bar, so that is 5/8 of an inch on each end, which allows for the pull bar cap. Use a sharp straight edge for a nice straight cut. Cut the spline at an angle so that the pull bar does not jam the spline, causing a wrinkle in the mesh. After you trim the mesh, the pull bar cap just slips on and can be secured using a number 6 flathead screw. If you're using a cordless drill, set the clutch no higher than number 5, as you will snap the screw head off. Both ends of the mesh need to be squared to the pull bar. Make the length of the screen on each end exactly the same to make a perfectly square door. Prepare the mesh by rolling up the pull bar in the mesh and place the bar so that the mesh edge is closest to you. The spring is inserted in the right-hand side of the roll tube and the spindle on the left-hand side. The roll tube has double-sided tape on it to secure the mesh. Align the end of the roll tube and the spring edge with the mesh. You can now secure the mesh to the roll tube. Roll the tube in the mesh as firmly as possible to prepare for the housing. Snap the housing over the mesh and roll tube with the mohair side closest to you. You are now ready to preload the spring using the housing cap. Using a glove prevents a cut finger if you miss a turn and the spring gets away on you. Give yourself about 6 to 8 inches of mesh and use your left hand to hold the mesh and roll tube. "13 turns is the ideal preload. However, more or less turns can be used to accommodate different situations. Now secure the end cap to the housing. Use 2 number 6 panhead screws and remember to set the clutch on your drill no higher than 5. Secure the cap on the spindle side, making sure the spindle is in the slot in the end cap, or the door will not retract. The door is now complete and is ready for the accordion test. Pull the pull bar in and out several times, making sure the operation is smooth and the door is not binding. If the mesh is too long, the door will not retract, and if the mesh is too short, it will not stay in the rail when installed. If the mesh edge is flush with the end of the pull bar cap, this creates the ideal situation for a smooth operation.